Hello. Oh, go live. Let me see. Sorry, I'm live on YouTube. I wasn't live on, where am I? Facebook. Oh my God, I'm so busy lately. Okay. Center, Lisa, center. Alrighty. I might have to get up and close those blinds. Of course, the sun comes out now. Hasn't been out all day. Now I'm doing a live, and it's going to come streaming in. So anyway, can't complain about the weather, can I? It's ridiculous. Okay, just waiting for people to turn up. I'm just going to sit here. Hello. People are coming in slowly but surely. I've got to stop looking at my to-do list. It's stressing me out. Okay. Anyway, just waiting for people to turn up before I really start to, oh shoot, I should go get a drink of water. Just a sec. Amateur mistake. I didn't have a drink with me. I need something in case my voice starts to go. Okay, so I can't believe it's 4:30. I haven't had my head down all day, and I just looked up. Okay, so okay, we got 14 people here, and we've got 2 on YouTube. YouTube is I do get questions there, but if you do ask me a question on YouTube, because the screen is down there, the webcam's up on top of my phone, but the screen's down there. So if you do ask a question, I tend to look down while I'm transferring from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, because the social media ones, YouTube's a search engine, it's a bit different. The social media ones tend to get busy. So if I'm not looking at your questions on YouTube, yeah, I don't have a lot of followers on there right now. So, but anyway, I just want to thank you. I reached 100,000 on Facebook last week. So that was a big milestone. I'm at 121,000 now, 21,000 people in the last week. Just can't believe people are tuning in to watch an old lady talk about parenting. But anyway, thank you very much. I really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. Okay, 5-year-old boy having a hard time transitioning from one task to another. I did give 5-minute warnings and so on, but he is struggling. It just takes time. You could just be missing something too. Like, I don't know. I can't just assess that. I don't know why he's struggling with transitions, but if you're calm and consistent and you have structure and you have routines, they tend to do better with transitions. So, but yeah, that's just a general comment. 7:30 where I am. What area are you from? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada, which is the same as California time, Pacific time. So right now it's 4:30 Pacific time here in Vancouver. That's in the link above. This is one of my regularly scheduled lives. So I've been doing them every day now for, I think, about a year and a half. I started on TikTok. I've only been on Facebook for really 4 months now. And I started on Instagram 6 months ago. So, and then the lives, I started right around the time I started on those platforms. So yeah, I love doing these lives. I find them relaxing. Coaching's my favorite thing, but there's some pressure. You guys pay good money for me to solve your problems, so there's pressure. This, I don't feel that. I can just relax. Anyway, I'm also taking more control over these lives because a lot of it is just me answering your questions about discipline. And then people seem to think that all I talk about is discipline. That's a very tiny part of this. Bonding with your kids, being fun, making them feel good about themselves. That is what this is all about. The discipline is a tiny part of it, okay? You deal with bad behavior, then you focus on the good kid. Have fun with them, play with them. Kids' love language is play. It's not praise. Parents tend to overpraise and underplay. Play more, praise less. Praise doesn't really matter. You don't have, praise isn't a bad thing, but it's not really a great thing. Kids don't really care about it. You watch a kid that you've just praised. This is a 5-year-old little girl, and you just said, you're wonderful, you're special, you're beautiful, I love you. I'm going to go do the dishes now. This is that 5-year-old little girl. Now you say to that same little girl, hey, what are you doing? Can I join in? Look at the difference in her face. That's her love language. Praise is not their love language. It may be yours. It's not mine either. I don't care about it. I've never been big on compliments. Spend time with me. Make me laugh. That's my love language. Okay. My 7-year-old misbehaves a lot when people are around. The thing is, Could be a lot of different reasons. I'm guessing it's because they don't get enough attention when other people are around because you're diverted. So I would assume that's it. That would make sense to me. It could be other things, but I would assume it's because that child is catered to, kind of in charge when you're alone with them. But then when other people are around, it's not all about them. Is that it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. First time watching you live. Oh, excellent. Welcome, Ashley. Ashley Marie. My middle name's Marie. I went to school with, I think there were 7 Lisas, and all 6 of us were Lisa Marie. Goes well together. Anyway, first time watching you live. I have 4 girls ranging 13, 12, 6, and 2. Wow, I love your videos. Thank you so much for enlightening. Oh, you're very welcome. So you've got all 3 age groups. Did you email me? That was someone else about coaching. They had 3 age groups: toddler, child, teenager. So can you write a book about leading? Yeah. Oh, no, middle school classroom. I don't know anything about teaching. I'm parenting. That's all I teach. You know how I know they're very different? Because a huge portion of my clients are teachers, principals, child psychologists. I couldn't do their jobs. I couldn't do your job. I couldn't tell you how to do it. I wouldn't have a clue. So yeah, parenting's different. It's personal. It's just different. Some stuff crosses over, but a lot doesn't. So yeah, I get this a lot. I get a lot of schools approaching me, wanting me to teach stuff. I don't do that. Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. It would be very arrogant of me to think I could tell a teacher how to run a classroom. Very stupid of me, actually. Yeah, it's not my thing. Okay. Hi there. You've helped me so much already. How do you deal with siblings fighting? Okay, sibling rivalry. There's so many different ways I could go with this. But generally, if you spend one-on-one time, let's say kids don't get along, and then the worst thing you can do is do one-on-one time with each child because it builds resentment. What you want to do is you want to show them how to get along by doing group activities with them. Don't do anything competitive. There's no winner. There's no loser. It's just fun, silly stuff like going to the paintball or doing something, something where there's no competition. I guess paintball would be competition. God, I hate all that stuff. I'm the one, if you go to an escape room, I'm the one that they'd find my body a year later. I would never get out. I'm lousy at all that stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, do things with them, not individually. I have teens. You say you like that age. Yeah, they're my favorite. My boy's father passed away in 2017. Sorry about that. I lost my dad when I was 14. Boy, can I relate to that. It was, I've been through a lot. I've had miscarriage, heart surgery, but the worst thing that ever happened to me was because of my age was when I lost my father. I've since lost my mother, but I was 55. It's just different. Anyway, so I sympathize with that. I've basically been a single parent most of their lives. People tell me I'm too easy on my kids. I get disrespectful attitudes and discipline issues for a while now. Oh, you have teenagers. Sorry, that would be coaching. I don't have a course for teenagers. If you want my help with that, you'd have to hire me. Or you can just keep watching and ask very specific questions. I might be able to answer, but usually I'll say, I need to assess the situation with teenagers because you've had all those years to get where you are. I need to assess what your relationship is like, what their social life is like, how much time do they spend on media, do they have chores, I need to assess the situation before I know how to move forward with teenagers. So that is usually coaching. Yeah, I have a lot of teenagers on my coaching roster right now, or the parents of teenagers. Not many toddlers. Well, it's usually mostly school age, but I've got tons of teenagers right now for some reason. It goes in waves. But yeah, and it's always tricky with teenagers. You're a teacher. Yeah, huge portion of my clients are teachers. Teachers, principals, daycare workers, and child psychologists. Like I always say, I totally respect those jobs. I could never do them. But because parenting is different. That's business, that's institution stuff. I'm personal, home-based stuff. Very different. Some stuff does cross over. A lot doesn't. And there are some really heated discussions when I've got a child psychologist as a client. Neither one of us back down. It's quite funny. It ends up being a lot of fun. Okay, well, for me anyway. How do you parent through behavior regressions? Example, 6-year-old tantrums or 2-year-old aggression soon after the tragic loss of their dad 5 months ago. I want to have patience and compassion, but also don't want to lose the little authority I have. The thing is that kids, when they lose a parent, they don't tend to process it right away. They're usually quite good initially. And then stuff comes out. As they get older, they start to process it from an older age. So you should have an open line of communication and don't make it negative. How are you feeling? Do you still miss your dad? None of that stuff. It's more just, connecting with them and saying, we can talk about anything. Talk about the positives, how much the father loved them, stuff like that. and stuff will come out, but not usually when prompted. So yeah, it's very difficult. Anyway, if you're a leader, everything's kind of easier. They tend to tell everything to a leader, by the way. They'll tell you pretty much everything. So work on your leadership skills. Wait a minute, how old are they? Example, 6-year-old tantrums. Okay, you might want to check out the boot camp course. I got a big thing coming up starting on the 30th. I'll be doing live webinars every week with that course. Just that one time. It's a 5-week course. So it doesn't matter where you are in the course, you can still tune in. But I will be staying specific to that week. Because if people have signed, a lot of people are signing up just to start on that week with me. So we're going to be staying like week 1. We're going to be talking about week 1. The fun part about this is I've never done it. Well, I did it once before, but it was when I was making the course last year. And I did it just with 20 people. I don't know how many people are going to turn up. It could be 2. It could be 200. I have no idea how many people are going to turn up. It'll be interesting. The fewer people, the better for you. That means you can get your questions answered. It'll be a Q&A. But what I'm really excited about this time going through this, it's not the 5 weeks. Because that's coaching, 5 weeks, right? What I'm interested in is the 6th week. That's the one where I say, how did it go? So we've gone through all 5 weeks of the boot camp course, and then I get to check in the 6th week. How did it go? How are you feeling? How's it going? So yeah, and then we'll wrap it up and clean up some messes that might still be happening, and I'm really excited about that. The reason I love coaching so much is because I get to connect with the parents and get to know what they're going through. And when people do the course, the boot camp course, I'm not in there with you, right? You do that on your own. So that's why this is really going to be fun for me. I get to find out how you're going through the course, and I get to know you a little bit. And then all those sessions, those webinars or Zoom, it's group coaching, right? Then those will be added to the course eventually. We can't make any promises on when we can get that in there. It just depends. We might have to do some editing. But I kind of like things raw. I like mistakes and flubs and all that anyway. So that's why I like live so much. Lots of mistakes in here, I'm sure. So, and I'm sure it'll happen. Sure, there'll be glitches doing that too. Okay. I have 3 and 5-year-old boys, and have read books like How to Talk. Okay, I've never read a book on parenting, so I don't know that one. And cannot for the life of me get my boys to stop fighting with each other. Okay, I can't comment on those books because I've never read a book on parenting or kids. I only teach what I know through kids, what they taught me. So for the life of me, get my boys to stop fighting. They're 3 and 5 years. Okay, 3 and 5 years old. Well, I don't know how they're fighting. Are they fist fighting or just arguing all the time? Is there a lot of jealousy? I would suggest, kids, you always tell them to stop fighting. Have you ever taught them how to play together? Like start playing with them in a group. Do stuff that they would normally do. You join in, and then you show them how it's done. Parents are very quick to correct their kids, to criticize their kids and tell them to stop misbehaving, but then they forget to show them what to do, how to behave. So that, play with them. Whatever they're doing and they're fighting over, get in there and play with them and show them how to share. Show them how it's done. That's what a leader does. A leader leads by example, usually. Remember, they're not listening to you nearly as much as they're watching you. Children learn through observation, not their ears. A little bit of that, but it's mostly their eyes. They're watching you. Oh my goodness, no. Laura Miller. Oh, no, 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 no. Can I put listen the first time on the behavior board? Is that too broad? That's too big of an ask. You know what you're asking for? Respect me, even though I haven't earned it yet. That's what you're saying. It's a very dictator kind of thing to say. It's too broad. It's too much. It's in the attitude department. Yeah, you're just saying respect me. You got to earn that. You got to work for that. Yeah, I would never say that. Never. I just bought the boot camp course. Can't wait for lives. By the way, I get this. I've had 2 or 3 of them today. People are all mad at me. They send me an email. By the way, don't send me messages. Someone sent this on a message. I don't have time anymore. I've got 1 million followers on social media now. I can't look at all the messages. I do have someone that works with me. They can't keep up either. It's just getting too big, right? So anyway, but you can always get a hold of me via email. Okay, I don't answer general parenting questions on there, but if you're having a problem with the course or something, so I get these emails saying, I signed up for the course and it's gone. I have no access to it. Usually 99.9% of the time, you've entered your email incorrectly. And it's usually .con with an N instead of an M. You wouldn't believe how many people do that. I just did one just now, like just 10 minutes ago. So common. So be very careful when you enter your email into Podio when you're signing up for any course. You double check your email, because if you don't put the right email in, you won't have access to it. You'll sign into your account, but you've given the access to someone else, to some other email. So yeah, it happens a lot. Don't worry about it. But don't be mad at me. I didn't do that. It's funny. Okay, here's another one. How can I keep my 3-year-old from screaming? We don't fix kids. We teach parents. You set yourself up as a leader, and they don't tend to scream. It's all about you and your leadership. Check out the boot camp course. That's the best thing I've got going right now. If you don't want to buy that, you can just get the free behavior board. It's all in the link above, okay? Or just keep watching. Set yourself up as a leader. They don't tend to act out at the age of 3 and above. Under 3, they're nuts anyways. Toddlers are crazy. Okay, I'm going to read my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. That's a mouthful. Okay, these are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. It's more about managing them, really. But anyway, number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. I've got lots of videos on that. Number 3 is you enter their world to connect with them. You don't go to the nail salon with a 2-year-old. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. The better you get at entering their world by watching how they play and joining in, they just start to look at you differently. It's part of your leadership skills. Number 4 is sort of similar. When you want to discipline a toddler, you do so in their world because they're going to listen better. They're going to watch you better. They're going to learn better. So it's consistent corrective actions. It's not words. All these mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings and big emotions, it's garbage. That was invented to make the mom feel good about herself. Look, everyone, I'm discussing big emotions and big feelings. And the kid's like, they're not listening. That's not for them. That's for you. They need consistent corrective actions because they learn through repetition. They're not about words. Number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in here. So don't expect too much from them. Manage the environment, manage yourself, and just sort of stress through it. They can be really stressful. They're going to go from one stage to the next, to the next, to the next. Imagine if you go like this and smear poop on the wall. That's what they do sometimes. Does that make any sense? Nope. Is it frustrating? Yep. That's gross. Adopted 9-year-old hates homework. I did media blackout and it doesn't work. You went too fast, too hard. Have you got a system for homework? And 9-year-old, I was adopted. I was a baby when I was adopted, but yeah, check out the boot camp course, or you can just get the behavior board. That's completely free. The boot camp course, I've got that big promotion thing coming up, or whatever I don't know what you call it. Anyway, I'll be turning up doing group coaching sessions on Zoom. So every Saturday, it starts every noon Saturday. It starts on the 30th. So if you sign up for the boot camp course, you get in on that. If you don't, you don't. So it's just to go through the boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about week 6 because the course is only 5 weeks, and week 6, I get to check in. How did it go? I never get to do that. It's frustrating. All these people are going through the boot camp course, and I don't know how they're doing. So a lot of them do email me. Yeah, I don't know how you're all doing on there. And that's why I love coaching so much. I won't be able to coach forever. I'd like to be able to write a book, and I can't coach and write a book at the same time. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Anyway, I'm just thinking things through in the back end, how I'm going to manage stuff, because I really like to be able to write a book one day. Am I just talking to myself? Yeah, sorry. I have a 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. The 4-year-old is giving me a harder time in terms of listening and doing the right thing. My 2.5-year-old is mostly great. We just have the usual tantrums. The 4-year-old is just so testy. Why are they so different? Oh, why are they so different? You mean, why do human beings have different personalities? I don't know. I have 2 kids. I would say they were both easy. My son had tantrums, though. My son would have been more, I had to put a little bit more work into him. My daughter was born easiest kid in the whole world. Even as a baby, never cried. She never had a tantrum. She just was the easiest kid. It was like she was born an old woman. She was just very responsible. And I remember the teacher once said, she was 3 years old and she was in kindy. And the teacher was looking at my daughter, said, look at her. And my daughter was just standing there overseeing all the kids being silly in the playground. She was like this, just watching. I felt like saying, loosen up, get some mud on yourself. She was just so mature for such a little thing. She was easiest kid in the whole world. I can't take responsibility for that. I wish I could. I can't take any credit for that. She was just born that way. Okay, 9-year-old will not wipe herself, says she doesn't want to. Hygiene's a real problem with a lot of kids, especially teenage boys. Anyway, so just say, I'm gonna do an inspection. When you wipe yourself, leave how do I explain this? I know exactly what to say, but I don't want to say it on here. Anyway, yeah, say I'll be doing an inspection, not of the person, but of what's in the toilet face up. You leave the toilet paper face up. And yeah, sorry about that. I got a few different ways of dealing with that. But that's fine. I don't make a big deal out. There should be no shame, none. Don't ever shame for bodily functions, anything like that, hygiene, bodily functions. Just say, look, you got to wipe yourself. I'll be doing an inspection, and then explain how. Yeah, it's tricky. Okay. Would you treat a child with ADHD differently? Those are all the kids I learned this with. That's all the kids I work with. My own kids didn't have it. They were easy. But I learned most of what I teach through all those kids. I call them alphabet kids. ADHD, WXYZ. They all had some acronym after their name. Do you know I never opened up one file? I worked with a lot of kids over the years, all volunteering as a mentor. I got some training, but I never used it. I just used my own, what I was doing. And I never opened up one file. I decided to treat the personality, not the diagnosis. So yeah, it worked with all those kids. They just take a little bit more patience and consistency sometimes. Just takes a little bit more time. Okay, we've learned so much from your free content. Thank you. That's why I'm on here. Not everyone's going to buy a course from me or hire me for coaching, and I still want you to benefit from some of my advice if you like it, but anyway, we have 3 daughters, 9, 11, and 12, and your videos have allowed us to really reflect on our own parenting and make some changes to what we're doing. Thank you. I really wish I could talk about something that happened in coaching today, but I didn't get permission from the parent. It was something I'm sure a lot of you are struggling with, and it's never come up before. It was something that I never thought to remind them of, but they were doing something, and I thought, oh, I'll bet a lot of parents are doing that. Next time I talk to them, I'll have to ask their permission. I never talk about stuff unless I ask. I never use names, obviously, but I didn't ask. Darn it. It was such a good one, too. Anyway, hopefully I'll remember next week. And I'll ask them then. Okay, I have a 12-year-old with anxiety involving food and being alone. That's interesting. Anxiety with food and being alone. Okay. They're just so different. I tried therapy, but nothing has helped. It seems to be getting worse with age. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but that would be a coaching issue. And I'd have to, there's no guarantees with any of this, but I've dealt with a lot of kids with food sensitivity, anxiety, depression, self-harming, all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if I could help you or not, but I'd give it a go if you want to work with me. But I don't understand the connection between the food and the being alone. There must be other stuff in the middle there too. It can't just be those two things. Children can have anxiety. They can show signs of it from a very young age. Usually it starts at around 3 or 4 that they can start to show signs of anxiety, because anxiety comes from having pressure on you, and there's no pressure on a toddler. They just do what they're going to do. But by the age of 3, they can start to feel pressure to have to do certain things, have to get dressed, you know what I mean? Yeah, they got some pressure on them. Anxiety pops out when there's pressure. But yeah, I don't know why that would be. And I'd need to know, when did it start? How does it manifest itself? Being alone where? At home? Somewhere else? In school? And yeah, I'd have to assess that. If you want to work with me, send me an email and tell me what the problem is, and then we'll decide if coaching's for you, or you'll decide if coaching's for you. And I'll see if I have time. I don't always have time. Check out the link above. To see. Like today, I'm taking on a couple new clients today. So, but yesterday I couldn't. So each day is different. Some helpful behavior board examples. That's what the behavior board, it's all free, it's up above. That is that's the behavior board example. I thought so, thank you. Need to work on that leadership. I just bought the boot camp course. Excellent. I am dying to see how many people turn up. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I have no idea. I signed up and can't find the free behavior board. It takes about 15 minutes to be delivered. It's like a third-party delivery system. I do that. I'll sign up for something, and then, where is it? I signed up for that. Where is it? And then it turns up, oh, never mind. So it takes about 15 minutes. Just make sure you've put the correct email in there. A lot of people do this. They'll sign up for a course or the behavior board, and they'll literally put in the wrong, or no, it's kind of hard to explain, but anyway, they'll put in the wrong email address, and they'll email me, I didn't get my course, or I didn't get that, and yeah, I'll check into it, and they just got the wrong email. It happens a lot. But yeah, just double check that, because then I have to go searching, and then you're all mad at me, and then you go, oh, sorry about that. just double check it. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Everyone is always crying. Adopted 9, biological 3, 1-year-old, I'm exhausted. Yeah, check out the boot camp course. That might be for you. Lots of parents are going through a whole bunch of crap, okay? You're not alone. Lots of parents are going through crap. Do not look at those perfect parents on Instagram. You know the moms that are dressed perfectly, their bodies snapped right back, they've got a newborn, they've got other kids hanging around. That's not reality. Look up funny mom fails. Just look up videos. You're going to feel better instantly. And then get to work. Use the free behavior board. Sign up for the boot camp course. Or the top level is coaching if you want that. You have to look into that because I can't take everyone on these days. I'm busy. But anyway, so yeah, you're not alone. It's funny because a lot of my clients are child psychologists, teachers, principals, daycare workers. They are so frustrated. How can I run a whole class? How come I have all these clients and everything's so easy? And I say, because this is personal. Parenting is not like any other relationship. They're a reflection of you. You take it personally. That's why it's so different. The relationship is very different. And when I worked with kids, I mothered them. It wasn't a business. Like it wasn't a school or anything. I was like a mentor. I was mothering them. So that's where I learned all this. Well, you're not going to like my answer at all. How old do you think is a good age to start teaching a child to sit still? I never taught a child to sit still. I meet their needs and manage their wants. Their needs are they need exercise. So if we were taking our kids out to a nice fancy dinner, I would take them to the park on the way there, have them run around, work off some steam. I fed them before we went if we were going somewhere fancy. And also I brought coloring books and everything. So I meet their needs. Their needs are they got to move. Right? You can't expect a little one to sit still. Even as they get older, it's hard, right? Once they're in school, they start to learn that. But yeah, it's hard. Meet their needs and manage their wants. But their wants is not moving. That's a need. They need to move. So you got to meet those needs. So yeah, try and wear them out. Bring them something to do. If you're in church or something, bring them something to do. That's what I thought, but it takes a few days and you have to read the emails. Who, me? Oh, are you nagging me about emails? What's your name? Have you sent me something? I don't see one from you. Yeah, emails are my nemesis. I'm often up at midnight still answering emails. I work 7 days a week. I'll figure it out. It's just part of it, right? It's a good problem to have. A lot of people are connecting with me. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's a lot. Okay, that's why I can't take on new clients every day because of all this back end stuff. It's not like I'm coaching 8 hours a day. I just have a whole bunch of back end stuff I have to do. So, and only I can do it. Like no one else can answer emails. I guess they could, some of them, but I haven't turned all that stuff over yet. I'm very protective. I don't want people to see my clients' names. You know, I do all that. Very protective. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is a good one. This is from Autumn. Oh, you've asked a question. I've seen that name before, I'm pretty sure. What time is it? Oh, I'm going to have to go over to Instagram soon, but I'll do this one. Each morning, I'm asking my 8-year-old several times to brush his teeth and get dressed. So how are we? Okay. And then you're late for school, whatever. Put on the behavior board, follow school morning routine. Underneath there, write out a school morning routine. And I would give them incentive. So if you're ready by 7:40, let's say you have to get out the door by 8. And if you're ready to go by 7:45, you can watch 10 minutes on the iPad. Give them some incentive, something to work toward, right? Oh, you can work toward going to school. How exciting. So I told my kids, you can watch TV in the morning before school. And this is what has to be done first. You should have seen them racing around in the morning, eating, getting dressed, brushing their teeth, going to the bathroom, and then bang, they'd sit and watch TV. So yeah, I never had to tell them to get ready. They had incentive, something to do. Something to work toward. Okay, I got to move over to Instagram now. If you want to join me over there on Bratbusters Parenting. Otherwise, check out the link above. It's my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my boot camp course. I've got that Zoom group coaching calls starting on the 30th. So if you want to wait till then, if you've bought the course, and I would suggest you wait until the 30th to go through it. It's 5 weeks, and I'll be going through it with you. And I've decided it's going to be week specific. So week 1 of the group Zooms will be about week 1 in the course, et cetera, et cetera. The week 6 Zoom call will be, I want to find out how you went. I'm very excited about that. I don't know how many people are going to turn up. It could be 2, it could be 200. I have no idea. Anyone who's bought the course in the past can join in and they can ask questions about things, but it'll only pertain to the week that we're on that week. And so I'm very excited about it. If you have a 3 to a 12-year-old, you can sign up now, but don't start the course until, you can read it all, but don't start it until week 1. Don't do the behavior board or anything until we've done that call. And you won't be able to see it until, it might be a month later that all those videos will actually be in the course. We'll be adding them to the course, but we're not sure when that's going to happen because I need to look at them and decide, you know, if we want to put them all in, whatever. Anyway, I got to get going. I'm moving over to Instagram. I'm on YouTube the whole time. So if you want to join me on Instagram, you can move over there. Happy parenting. Okay, come on, post for 30 days, Instagram. And go. Okay, I'm going to read the YouTube comments now. Okay, I just discovered you. You're great. I have a 15-month-old though, and find your resources are mostly 2+. Yes, they are. The thing is that under the age of 16 months is when I consider them a toddler. 15 months and under, they're kind of babies. A lot of people hire me when they got babies too, but it's mostly talking about what's going to come up in the future because I'm all about the relationship. They're more just about meeting their needs when they're babies. So that's a lot easier to do. It's not as complicated. It's the discipline, the personality stuff. That's what I teach. Okay, that's mainly, so that's why. The personalities aren't really developing as much yet. Okay, could you possibly do a video for 2 under 2? I have a 19-month-old. Tips, any ideas? I don't do videos anymore. All I do is lives, and I have someone who does videos from all the lives. So if you want to ask a very specific question, and I might get to it, I don't know. I get a lot of questions on here, but yeah, I don't do videos anymore. I just do these lives. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading the YouTube comments. I just couldn't quite understand one of them. Oh, okay. My husband wants to know if I put a kid in timeout, they think, okay, I hate timeout. I can't stand it. I think it's mean. I think it's humiliating. And when you put a kid, you go over there, you're not even worth dealing with. You go sit in a corner and you think about what you did. They're not thinking about what they did. They're sitting there feeling like garbage. There's no lesson learned. They've just been humiliated. That's all. So I hate timeout. Get rid of it. I just keep watching. I talk about everything else you do instead of that. Check out the behavior board. That's what I do. That's a 4-year-old. Look at the behavior board, or you can join the boot camp course. It's all, I got a special thing coming up starting on the 30th with the boot camp course. Anyway, okay. Did I do my introduction? If you're new here, I just want to thank you. Last week, I hit 300,000 on here last week, or on Sunday, I think. Anyway, so I hit 300,000, and now I'm, 300,000 on here. And I won't talk about the other platforms. It's all going really well. And except YouTube. YouTube's small. It's a search engine. It's a monster. It's a beast. I don't have time to even figure out how to do YouTube. But anyway, I do have someone who is doing that all for me. But yeah. But I just want to thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. Can you send the info for a special boot camp? That's all above. If you look in the link above, everything I have is in that one link. By the way, do not go searching for me elsewhere because so many people are getting scammed out of money. People are using my picture and my videos saying they're me, and they're scamming people out of money. If you use that link above, that is me. Bratbusters.com is also me. That's my website. It's not Bratbuster. It's not leadership parenting. I don't do that. I did have I used to have a website called Parenting Like a Leader. I'm giving that up because I don't think I'll use it. But that's not me. It's bratbusters.com or the link above. That will be me. Do not get scammed out of money, please. It's just so upsetting. There's nothing I can do about it. They're using my face, my picture, my videos, everything. And they're literally taking hundreds of dollars from people. Oh, God, there's nothing I can do about that. Well, how could I? I have no control over that. Frustrating though, isn't it? I feel so violated because they're using my videos and my picture and my name, and then they're stealing money from people. It's like that catfishing, like in the dating world when people are being catfished out of money and there's just a picture. It's the same thing. People are just catfishing you. It's frustrating. But yeah, the link above is me. That is my stuff. So No, this is a good one. It's on YouTube. Do you think kids should be made to state why they got in trouble or giving a consequence? No, that's humiliating them. It would be like if police pulled you over for a ticket and they said, "Can you please explain exactly what you did wrong?" It's kind of shaming, isn't it? Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, I think that's mean. I wouldn't do it. Bu- 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 bu. Uh, Someone said, "Sorry, that's horrible." What's horrible? Was it something I said? You know what? I love upsetting the apple cart. I get some real nasty comments on here. I always think it's funny. Lisa, tell us how you played with your kids, please. Ooh, I watched how they played and I joined in. That's simple. I watched how they played and I joined in. And then once I was doing what they were doing, then I might do something different. But I enter their world and then I might show them a different way of doing it just by doing it. You don't talk about it, you just start doing it. Um, if we went to the park, I used to roll down the hill with the kids at the park and got full of dirt and I just I entered their world. That's all. Just watch how they play and join in. Don't try and teach them things when you're playing. Don't try and teach them things when you're playing. That's for them. Play is their love language. Learning isn't. It's okay. It's not bad to do. But if you really want to just bond with your kids and have fun with them, just start playing with them. Okay. Yeah. Boy teen who refuses to go to school, two younger siblings with single mom. Yeah, I deal with this all the time in coaching. Teenagers just simply refusing to go to school. It is frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. I mean, I'm being selfish. I find it frustrating, and I'm just the coach. Imagine what the parents go through, right? I find it very frustrating. It is difficult. How do you get a big 15-year-old boy to go to school? Yeah, we have to use all sorts of things, leverage, bribery, incentives. We have to pull out all the stops. But my main focus is always the relationship between the parent and the teenager. You got to strengthen that first before anything's going to work. So yeah, it's tricky. I can't give you a quick answer. I deal with this in coaching, and sometimes they have to hire me multiple times. It's teenagers are you. It's taken you 15 years to get where you are. It can't be solved in like that. It's going to take time. Got to work on it. Oh, you're going to hate me. My 3-year-old was mean to our dog. How to stop him? I would rehome the dog if you can't protect it. I'm an animal lover. If my kids had ever hit my animals, I would not have been impressed, but I probably would have rehomed the animals. They knew enough. You don't even run past the bird cage because I didn't want the bird to be scared. And they just learned to really respect animals from really tiny. But yeah, if you can't protect an animal, rehome it, even just temporarily. There's no way I could handle seeing a dog or any animal get scared or hurt. It's a good question. How to tell the difference between normal toddler behavior and bad toddler behavior. There is no bad toddler behavior in that they don't really know what they're doing yet. They're kind of nuts. Like they just haven't formed yet. So yeah, I don't really want to call it bad toddler behavior. Like if they go like this and smear poop on the wall, is that bad or is it just normal? Is it just part of being a toddler? Is trying stuff? They don't all do that. Yeah, I can't answer that because I don't really consider it bad. I consider it they're just testing the world. So yeah. Say on the behavior board, the consequence is no taking shoes off at the park. For a 4-year-old is a chore when they get home. Okay, if they take the shoes off at the park, then they have to do a chore when they get home. What if they still refuse to put shoes on? Do I pick them up and leave? Yeah, I probably would. Yeah. The key is to never get angry. If they think you're mad, they've won. You don't look like a leader. Just go, no shoes on at the park. I'll tell you what, we'll discuss it when we get home. And then you go to the behavior board. You don't discuss the behavior board when you're not there. You wait, you say, we'll discuss it when we get home. And you get home and you say, okay, and I would pick them up and take them home. And then I'd say, okay, the reason we're home now early is because you took your shoes off. And here's the consequence. Then I'd say, do you understand? Okay. And that's it. Takes time. They're not going to learn this stuff overnight. Your methods have helped already, and I've barely started. I get some amazing emails. Some of them just make me cry. They're just beautiful. Just that's just imagine having a job where you help people, make them feel better, make them enjoy their kids more. How lucky am I? Eh? But you know what? I put in like 52 years at probably a good 30 to more volunteering with kids. I didn't do it because I got paid for it. I didn't do it because I ever thought I'd start a business. I did it because I loved it. I was volunteering in hospitals, daycare centers, schools, institutions, psych wards, all sorts of places, homes. I got some clearance from the government to go into homes to help to support parents. So I just loved it. And then I turned it into a business, and now I can do it and stay home and do it. I can do it all the time now, like help parents. But yeah, it's wonderful. But boy, I put in the time, I'll tell you. uh, I want to also just bring this around. I keep trying to get this back to the fact that everyone asks me about discipline because that's what you're struggling with the most, right? But discipline is a very tiny part of what I teach. Leadership is everything. Leadership is about playing with your kids, having fun with them, making them feel good about themselves. If your kids like themselves and they have high self-esteem, it's because you're guiding them to make good choices. And that's what this is all about. You're not telling them what to do. You're guiding them into making good choices. I used to tell my kids, you can do whatever you want. But if you make a bad choice, it's my job to have a consequence for you, to teach you how to be accountable. So you see, I never told my kids what to do. I said, well, the rule is this, whatever. And then if you don't do it, it's my job to correct you, to have a consequence, because that's how we all learn, through being accountable, right? That's why we pay rent. We don't want to be kicked out. We pay taxes so we don't go to jail. We don't shoplift because we don't want to get picked up and handcuffed. You know what I mean? We operate through being accountable. So you got to teach that to your children. Well, not really much of an answer for this. 2-year-old wants to be picked up while you're cooking dinner and then has a tantrum and won't eat dinner. You might just want to check out my tantrum course. I'm thinking that the tantrum upsets you, and yeah, I wouldn't pay that any attention. And they won't eat dinner. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That doesn't make much sense to me. If a toddler's hungry, once they finish the tantrum, they'll usually eat. So if they're tantruming, you just ignore them. And then once they're finished, then they can come over and eat. So it's not adding up to me. I don't quite know what you mean. Like they don't dig their heels in. A 2-year-old doesn't get stubborn and says, well, I didn't get my own way, now I'm not eating. They don't do that. Not at 2. At 3, they do. How do I not pay attention to a tantrum when the newborn is sleeping? You kind of you kind of cut me off at the knees here. Like, you have to ignore a tantrum. So you're asking me how not to be a leader because you've got a newborn? Maybe just do everything wrong with the tantrum until the newborn is older and can sleep through it. See, there's only one way to deal with a tantrum effectively, and that is to ignore it. If you're unable to ignore it, you can't take my advice anyway. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I can't tell you how to deal with a tantrum without ignoring it, because that's my method. So yeah, I can't help you with that. Any recommendations for 4-year-old who gets upset and runs off to cry? I don't respond and let him work it out and move on. It's happening more. Either he's really spoiled and used to getting his own way, or there's some injustice in the family. Is he being treated fairly and reasonably, or is there some unfairness going on? Does he feel this as an injustice? So it could be either one of those. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hello from London. I was in London in 1980. I think it was just a stopover. I was supposed to stay a bit longer, and it was at the end of my trip all around Europe. You know what doing Europe's like. You do like 20 countries in 2 days. So I didn't want to look at another country. So I never spent any time in London. Maybe one day I'll get there. Okay, I have a 14-year-old who struggles with some insecurities. Oh God, what 14-year-old doesn't? Some fault of my own, I confess. How do I get us back on the road so how do you get back on track? Well, I don't know the situation. When you said some fault of my own, I confess, I would need to know what that is. I can't help you. You got to do some damage repair there. So if you feel that you were to blame for some of these insecurities, you're going to have to do some work on that. You're going to have to make amends, and we're going to have to do something. So anyway, if you want to work with me, that would be coaching. You'd have to look it up and send me an email, and you have to apply for coaching these days. Today I am taking, I took a couple of clients on earlier. Yesterday I couldn't take any. It just depends on the day, right? Like, because sometimes I just finish with, if I just finish the 5th session with someone, I'll take on a new client. I just logged out, then wanting to log in. Weird, maybe a scam, beware. Don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, this one's a tough one. I'm going to read it out because I'm sure there's others in the same situation. What should I do if I'm a stay-at-home mom with no family support? I'm trying to be present with my toddler, but find myself on my phone a lot to get away mentally because I can't physically. I don't know. Yeah, so you're kind of at your wit's end. You don't have any family support. Look, yeah, I can't really help you with that. Like, what I mean is, it is difficult dealing with a toddler all by yourself because they don't have a lot of stimulation. Like, they're not really mentally stimulating, right? I would suggest you get out and about as much as possible. I remember one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was, I think it was my son and I. We were both sick. He was still a baby, and we were both just getting over a cold. And I was miserable because I hate being cooped up. I was usually out all the time. And this friend of mine said, "Don't worry about it. Just get up and get out of the house. It's the best thing you can do." So here I am. I think I had Kleenexes stuffed up my nose. I was still sick, got the baby out. Next thing you know, I run into another mom. The whole neighborhood was sick. So she was in the same boat, and we were both laughing. And so, yeah, get out as much as possible. Search out other moms. There are lots of play groups out there. You can meet somewhere. You can meet at community centers. There's all sorts of places. Oh, sugar. Just logged me out. Why did that happen? That's frustrating. Just waiting for people to turn up. I got logged out. I hadn't touched. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, just waiting for people to turn up. Okay, I got logged out. I didn't even touch the phone, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. That's never happened before. I got logged out of Instagram, so I'm going to have to look into that. Instagram logout. Just a sec. I'll look into it later. But yeah, I got logged out, so I don't know why that happened. A lot of weird stuff happens. Anyway, sorry about that. Instagram issue happening here too. Okay, so it's just Instagram. Okay, I won't worry about it then. What's an alternative for 24-hour media blackout? Media blackout is the second consequence that you use when a kid breaks a rule. They always have two. The first consequence is a positive action. If they won't do that, you always put an allotted time. Like, you have to clean the counter within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. If you don't put a time limit on it, it's never going to work. And then if they won't do that, if it's done in 11 minutes, it wasn't done. Sometimes they'll try and test you. Anyway, or they'll just forget, or they don't want to do it, and then they'll do it quickly. Too late, 10 minutes is up. Now you go to media blackout for 24 hours or something like that. That's the second consequence. You only do that when they wouldn't do the first positive action. Now you're going to do a negative deprivation. You take away a favorite toy. You're taking away something that they like. That's all it is. It's just depriving them of something that they like for 24 hours. Or if they're really little, it could just be, okay, no YouTube tonight, no tablet tonight or something if they're little. But yeah, basically it's just taking something away. Sometimes we invent leverage. I say I only do that a couple times a year in a big way, but inventing leverage is if you don't have anything to take away, you say, well, I'll tell you what, we were going to surprise you and go out for ice cream tonight, but because you didn't do the consequence, we're not going to go. We'll try it again another night. Don't promise what night though. So you weren't never going to go out for ice cream, but you're pretending you were going to, and now you took it away. That's inventing leverage. But yeah, in coaching, we sometimes do that. I don't like doing it with big, I do it in a big way sometimes. I don't like it, but sometimes that's all you got. Yeah, sorry, I blopped out. Instagram cut me off there. So yeah, but I'm back. Don't know why. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm just looking at. Okay, so Laura Jenkins on YouTube says, starting a behavior board for 16, 19-year-old and 5-year-old step siblings. Okay, any pointers on the 19-year-old? They are angry, hide in their room, getting low grades in community college. That's almost always coaching because they're so complicated at that age. And they have to be, well, two things. They have to be living with you and somewhat financially dependent upon you, or else we've got no leverage. So it sounds like they probably are. They're in college. And yeah, you're not going to like what I suggest a lot of the time with that age because you have to take a hard line. Everyone wants them just like, I want everything to go perfectly. I want them to pass college. I want them to graduate. I want them to do this and that. And I say, well, sometimes it's just not going to happen. You have to admit that things aren't always going to go your way with your teenagers. And yeah, you have to sometimes admit some defeats. And yeah, it's just the way it is. I've been doing this forever. You can't force a 19-year-old to graduate college or to go to, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes parents force their kids into college and then they get mad when they're not graduating or not doing well. Well, I think that they should have some say in whether or not they go. Okay, I'm just going to say, check out the link above. You can check out my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or my coaching. I can't always take clients on with coaching because my schedule is really packed these days. And but the boot camp course, I've got a thing starting up on the 30th. I'll be doing group Zoom calls. It's just in that boot camp course, and it's going to pertain to each week. So if you get the boot camp course or you've already finished it, doesn't matter. You can still turn up, but we're only going to be discussing the week that we're on. So it's week 1 of the course, week 2 of the course, up to week 5. And then I've got a bonus week 6. And that's the one I'm going to say, how did it go? Where are you? Where are you compared to where you started with? Let's say you were level 1 as a leader. And now are you level 8, 9, 10? Where are you now? Like, how are you feeling? And so I'm very excited about week 6. Because I know how week 1 to 3 go. I know exactly how those go. By week 4, you see people separate. Those that are doing really well and they're consistent, and others who are frustrated still, they're just not consistent. And so then it'll be up to me to sort of, cheer them on. And yeah, the first couple of weeks especially you're learning, right? Okay, so questions. I'm not getting a lot of questions coming in. Is there an Instagram issue? Because usually this one's flying usually. So this is usually my busiest live. My most questions coming in. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Questions aren't coming in. So, and I was just logged out of Instagram a few minutes ago too. So I don't know what's going on. Okay. What are your thoughts? This is on YouTube. What are your thoughts about arguing in front of your kids? 3+, don't do it. It scares them. You know what? Kids are very narcissistic. We all were as kids because we just see everything from our own point of view. If you're arguing, they blame themselves. It's like when you get divorced, they blame themselves. It's just the way it is. So yeah, it scares them. Don't do it. Just don't do it. You're big. You're adults. You can go and argue in the bedroom later on, but just don't do it. How to mend this? Just stop doing it. You can't mend it. Not with a little one. You can't. Just stop doing it. It truly scares them. You know what's interesting is yelling. Most parents yell. And I was never yelled at. And my kids were never yelled at. And I remember the first time anyone ever yelled at me, I was, I think, 26 years old. And it was a friend of a friend. And I didn't know this person all that well. And we went out somewhere together, just the two of us. I'd never been out alone with this friend. And we went to a jazz club because we happened to like jazz, both of us. No one else in the group did. So I said, hey, let's go. So I drove. And this person, I found out later, had bipolar. But anyway, it's no excuse to treat me like this. And we were just talking. Next thing you know, she just starts yelling at me. And I just said, all right, I'd never been yelled at before. And it just threw me right off. I thought, oh, life's too short for this. I said, fine, you yelled at me. I got up, walked out and drove home. left her there. And yeah, she was very apologetic, but I never went out with her alone again. But yeah, what I'm saying is if you've been yelled at a lot, you build up a shell, but I still think it gets in there and it hurts. I'd never been yelled at before. It was quite it was shocking. I didn't know what to do. I'd never been yelled at. It's interesting, eh? So think about how yelling affects your kids. By the way, don't go down the guilt trip because there's no point. Just try and stop yelling now. But you only yell because you don't know what else to do. And it works in the short term, but it backfires down the road, okay? So just put no yelling as your rule on the behavior board and get to work. Every time you yell, you get a consequence. It's usually playing hide and seek with the kids, or it's something for the kids that they enjoy. So you yelled at them, now you have to do something nice with them. Okay, listen, I'm not getting any questions at all. I don't even know if you're there. Are you still there? Well, I'm getting a heart, so you must still be there, but I'm not getting any questions. And I was shut down. The live was shut down a few minutes ago. So I'm thinking something's wrong with Instagram right now. So what I might do is I might just hop over to TikTok now. And yeah, I think I'll just do that. Anyway, check out the link above and you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. I can't take everyone on these days because my schedule's pretty packed. But today I took a couple new clients on. So yeah, every day's different, right? So you have to email me though. And also, sorry if I don't answer messages. I've got 1 million followers now on social media, and I can't get to all those messages. I do have someone who scans through them. So by luck, we happen to come across, and if there's an important one in regard to coaching or something that they think that's the way to get a hold of me, that is not the way to get a hold of me. If you really need to get a hold of me, not for general parenting questions, that's where I do this. This is where I answer the questions. But if you really need to get a hold of me because you've already bought a course or something and something's not going right, you have to email me. Anyway, it's all in the link above. I'm going to move over to TikTok because no questions are coming in. Instagram's glitching right now. So thanks so much for joining me and happy parenting. Oops, shoot. Discard video. That was a bust. Instagram, I don't know what was happening there. But they were saying that it was for them too, it was happening. Oops. Go to TikTok. Interesting. TikTok isn't acting the way it usually does. I wonder if something's going on there too. Maybe someone's trying to scam or trying to get into my accounts, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Oh gosh, no, Olivia. This is on YouTube. If they see you argue, shouldn't you show them how to handle the situation? No. Don't ask me to go into that. No, just no. They don't need to see parents argue and make up. No, not at all. That's debatable, but I'm very opinionated on that. I don't think that's right. Okay, it's debatable. People could argue with me on that one. People argue with me on a lot of stuff, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, I have a lot of reasons for that, but it's a long answer. But yeah, they do not need to see you argue and make up. Not at all. Okay, so now I'm on TikTok. I was just on Instagram and it was glitching, so I moved over here early. So hopefully this won't glitch. I sometimes wonder if people are trying to spam and get into my accounts. That can happen. That's happened from time to time. So maybe that's what happened. I hope not. Whatever, nothing I can do about it. I can just change passwords. So anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, wait, just a sec. I am going to have someone look into it later. Oops. Okay, so welcome to my live. This is one of my regularly scheduled lives, and my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler course, my big boot camp course, or you can hire me for coaching. No, you can apply to hire me for coaching because I can't always take people on because I'm busy. But with the boot camp course, starting on the 30th of March, I'm going to be doing group Zoom calls within the course. If you're signed up for the course, new, or if you did it ages ago, although it's only been since last June, it's been out, but you can still turn up for the Zoom calls. It's going to be group coaching, and you're going to be live, like people are, if you agree to turn up to that, I'm going to be using that in my course. So it's going to be attached to the course eventually. And I certainly won't be able to answer all the questions, just like on a live. I'm assuming I'll get a good turnout. I might not. You never know with things, if people turn up or not. It's going to be every Saturday at noon, my time, which is Pacific time, Vancouver, California time. And I'll be going for 6 weeks. The course runs for 5 weeks, and you can start the course anytime you want. But I'm starting it on March the 30th. So if you're just buying the course now, I suggest you wait and start it with me. Don't do the behavior board or anything until we do that Zoom together. And I'll be going through each week with you and then answering questions as many as I can. Anyway, okay, thanks so much for letting me go on about that. I hope TikTok doesn't get banned. I've learned a lot from your lives. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Instagram tonight. Don't know. Yeah, it shut me down. I don't know why. People try and do all sorts of stuff on here. Okay. Okay, question about bonding. So I always talk about leadership as bonding and connecting with your kids and being friends with them. That's 99% of what I teach. More than coaching, but on here everyone asks about discipline, but it's a tiny part of what I'm all about. I'm more about connecting with them. The pool story. That pool story is pinned. It's the very first video on my page here on TikTok, and it's my best video, my favorite video. Okay, so question about bonding. Is taking a walk together or cooking anything except playing okay? So in other words, I always say, watch your kids play and then join in. You enter their world. Yeah, you can go for a walk. Yeah, you can cook together. That's wonderful too. But I'll tell you something. When a kid is playing and an adult joins in, they just love it because they feel like you've entered their world. You see, when you're going for a walk's fine too, but when you enter their very specific personal world, it's a little bit better. The other is great too. If that's all you're going to do, that's great too. It is. You can do it in addition, but watch the difference when they're playing and doing something in their own little world and you sit down on the floor and do it with them. Just watch the pride. They get more pride because they're sort of, see, and I do this instead of you leading them. You're teaching them when you're cooking. You're leading them when you're walking. Let them lead on a walk. That's another good way of doing it. Let them lead. I like kids. I call it kid-led play. That's their love language. They want to be able to lead in the play. And that's why I was very much a leader in our lives, basically. I was in charge. But when it came to play, I had ideas, but it was them. They were in charge of the play. What do you do if the behavior board stops working? Potentially, you're just doing it wrong. There's lots of ways of messing that up, but I can't go into them all because I don't know what you're doing. That would be more coaching. It's a general thing. Generally, it works, but there might be something else that's just sabotaging it. You just wrote something down wrong. Maybe your attitude, maybe you get angry. Maybe you're inconsistent. Some days you do it, other days you don't. There's lots of reasons why it doesn't work. But if you apply it correctly, it almost always works. But it takes time. It's not going to work in the first few days, not even the first couple of weeks maybe. But you just got to keep working it, keep following through. Okay? The only failure with the behavior board is you not following it. You not making the consequences happen, etc. So the kids are going to keep breaking rules for a while, but so long as you're following through, they'll eventually catch on because a lot of that is bonding with them. Your consequences are like play hide and seek with them for 10 minutes or whatever. That's your consequence if you make a mistake. Stuff like that. So they usually get on board with that. So yeah, it's not the board. It's something you're just missing something potentially. How do you approach a parent that's catering to their child, but you have other children that you have? Huh? But you have other children that you have. How do you approach a parent that's catering to their child, but you have other children that you have? I don't know what you mean by that. That's very complicated. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you got a 3-year-old who hit you in that? Check out the boot camp course. That's all about your leadership. They don't act like that when you're a leader. By the age of 3, at the age of 3, there's a fork in the road. They're watching you when they're toddlers. And if you're acting like a leader, you're disciplining them by using consistent corrective action. You're playing with them a lot in their world. That's leadership to a toddler. They're starting to get it. But their behavior isn't going to be great until they're about 3. All of a sudden, if you've been a leader and doing these things I just mentioned at 3, they get super easy because they stop and think, wait a minute, you're a leader. This is great. And they're easy. If you're a pleaser, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? And it's, you do the pleaser parent, you know what I'm saying? You just cater to them and give them everything they want. You don't discipline them correctly. You're not using consistent corrective actions. You're using words, the mini therapy sessions. Then they take the other fork in the road. They go, wait a minute, you don't know what you're doing. I think I'll lead. I think I'll be in charge. It's almost exactly at 3. It's not usually before 3. It's maybe a little bit 3 and a little bit above that fork in the road. So yeah, check out. That's why the boot camp course starts at 3. That's when they can stop and think before they act. They're starting to put things together. They're starting to figure stuff out. I'm such a pleaser. Yeah, it's a real popular way to parent these days. I hope it's going out of style. That started about 30, 40 years ago with participation awards. I remember the first time I heard about those. You mean you just turn up and you get an award? Oh, yes, of course. They all deserve an award. I'm like, huh, this is a disaster. It was like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. You just turn up and get an award. Yeah, how stupid is that? Anyway, what was so funny about that is when I first heard about that, I had one time I don't know if it was, not when I first heard about it, but anyway, I used to have a column in the province. It's a newspaper here in BC, in Canada. And it was a Q&A thing where people would ask me questions and I'd answer, like a Dear Abby kind of thing. So anyway, and I just read a column in the newspaper about this mother who in America, in the United States, she was suing the school because they didn't give her child a participation award for turning up for sports day. The child didn't even go. They didn't even participate. And she wanted her child to she was suing them because their child didn't get a participation award for not even participating. I couldn't believe it. I wrote this huge thing on it. I just thought it was the most disgusting thing. Anyway, that's the pleaser parent. There you go. It's a total disaster. Total disaster. Yeah, participation awards. If you're a pleaser parent, you're going to raise self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. They're victims. They're woe is me that you didn't validate my feelings. I'm just a bus driver lady. Like that's what you're going to raise. They're just icky people. So you don't want to be the pleaser parent. You're trying to roll out the red carpet for them. You're a dish rag. They wipe their feet all over you. They never respect you. They resent you, and they never even grow up to respect you. The old-fashioned authority style, it works pretty well in the child years, but then the teen years, they tend to rebel. But they often shoot out the other side, respecting their parents and appreciating what they did for them. With the pleaser parent, they never respect you. They shoot out the other side. They're worse than they ever were. So yeah, it's a total disaster. I'm exaggerating, but it's what I do. Okay. Yeah, being a pleaser gives them the lead, and they don't even want it. That's the thing, is children deserve to have a leader. They need, crave, and want a leader. They're kind of lost without one. If you're not a leader for your children at home, you're sending them out in the world very vulnerable. They're vulnerable to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians, because they're going to instinctively search out a leader anywhere else. That's why you want to be the leader at home. Also, it keeps them on the straight and narrow when they're teenagers because they tell you everything. When you're a leader, they tell you everything because you're a safe place to land. They trust you. They look up to you. You're like a mentor to them. So imagine this. If you've got a teenager who knows they're going to tell you everything, are they going to go off the rail? No, because they know they're going to have to tell you about it, and they look up to you. They respect you. So, yeah. Whereas the pleaser parent is so busy. The pleaser parent, this is a typical example. I probably shouldn't say much about this because in case the parents are watching. It's someone my daughter knew that she went to school with. And the mother, the popular mom, the cute popular mom, she posted a picture on Facebook of her and her daughter. I think the daughter was 15. Her and her daughter at the movies sneaking a bottle of wine in and drinking it. 15-year-old daughter. What a cool mom, eh? That's the pleaser parent. Yeah. Trying to be buddies, trying to be popular, even getting her daughter, 15-year-old daughter, drunk at the movies. How stupid is that? You know what, I was amazed at that I mean, I wasn't going to report it, but I thought it's amazing she didn't get in trouble for that, because that's a big one. I think, wouldn't you think that'd be a big one? Sneaking alcohol into a movie theater with your 15-year-old daughter. I don't know. I just thought that was, to me, that's like huge. That's so stupid. It's huge stupid. Anyway, whatever. That's not a mother. That's a pleaser. That's trying to be a buddy. Oh, is there a bad side to buying my kids too much? So spoiling kids with things, they tend to not respect stuff, or they tend to not have a lot of gratitude in them, and they tend to be more entitled. So to think that they deserve all that stuff. Whereas I always said to my kids, if you ever ask for something, like a treat is a surprise, but if you ever ask for something, then it's just me filling a demand. So I didn't give them a lot of treats. Like I didn't tend to buy them a lot of extra stuff, but we spent quite a bit of money on experiences. Like went to water slide parks, theme parks, all that kind of stuff. Went to stuff That, yeah, that we tended to do experiences. I don't think that's spoiling them as much as giving them things. Oh, am I going to have to get up and close those blinds? Oh, it's frustrating. How many kids do you have? I don't really discuss my adult kids now, but I'll just say there's two of them. They're 34 and 29. And my granddaughter is, geez, she's 2.5 months old now. So yeah. But yeah, they don't choose to be on here. So it's their privacy. I don't put them on here. Yeah, I always thought, oh, I gotta go close the blinds. Sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry about that. Oh, and YouTube got a good shot of my butt there. Sorry about that. Anyway, okay, what was I saying? Love all the plants. Yeah, someone said something really funny. Someone pointed, I don't look at the comments, I don't have time, but someone else looked at them and they said, because I always say the top 5 tips for parenting toddlers, number 1 is to childproof your home so you never have to say no. And I said, I put all my plants up high and everything. And then they said, you're still doing it because my plants are up high. Oh, that was pretty funny. I just signed up for Bratbusters. My girl will be 3 and me needs a leader. Excellent. So you signed up for the behavior board? Excellent. Welcome to the community. I hear you a lot and that you give great advice and think you give great. Thanks so much for that. I'm old. I'm in my 60s now. I've been working with kids for 52 years and I've learned a lot because I studied them. I didn't do what I think they need. I watched them and I did what worked. Like I let them teach me. Like I never really tried to second guess them. I would watch them and study them. I was just obsessed with it. I remember I was 11 years old and I started volunteering in daycare centers. And I remember watching kids and I found them fascinating because we were all a child at one time. You learn a lot about yourself when you watch kids. And I remember thinking, I can remember being that age. I can remember doing that. So yeah, I find it interesting because it's learning about yourself too, right? Use the behavior board. Excellent. A lot of my clients have taken that to work and used it with staff. Like they use it with humor sort of thing. Like if you're late, you can't turn up without donuts. If you're more than 10 minutes late, you have to bring coffee too. Stuff like that. And the boss always does it first, right, to show. So yeah, use it with humor. But it's just an accountability chart. And this is kind of weird. Not weird, I think it's funny, is a lot of my clients use it as a couple. Some of them use it quite graphically, and they told me what was on it. They had to do favors as consequences. You can imagine what went on there. Yeah, they told me all about it. Okay. What to do? I'm just going to answer this because it's just not much you can do about it, but this is what you do. What to do with an 18-month-old forehead banging on the floor during tantrums. You know, they throw themselves around during tantrums. You still don't look at them or talk to them because you don't give any attention to a tantrum, but you physically restrain them. So you prevent them from hurting themselves, hurting someone else, or damaging property. Just physically restrain them. And then once you think they've calmed down a little bit, you can let go. If they start up again, you still don't look at them or talk to them though. You're just protecting them. That's all. It's just a stage. They're going to outgrow it. Trying to ignore tantrums, but screams louder when being ignored. That's because in the past you weren't ignoring tantrums. They remember the old you, so they're just upping it to get the old you back. Just keep ignoring it. It works eventually. But you see, because if you've been doing the wrong thing and then you start doing the right thing, or what I think is the right thing, you start doing the right thing, they remember the wrong that went more their way. They got their own way. They remember that. They're just going to up it. Think, oh, I know you. This new you, I can get rid of this new you. So yeah, you just have to learn. Just ignore it. You're an intelligent woman, run for office in politics, you'd be great. Oh God, no, I'd soil myself if I had to get involved in politics. I know nothing about politics uh, for a very good reason, because I don't like drama. It's funny because I work with troubled teens, but I know how to deal with them. So to me, it's relaxing. But yeah, I don't like drama. I don't like fighting or confrontation. I don't like anything like that. I'm very much in my personal life, I'm very much a follower. I'm not a leader at all in my personal life. I don't want to know where we're going, what we're doing, what I'm eating. I don't want to know any of that. Just organize it all for me. Because I'm such a leader in my business. Why would I want to do that in my personal life? I'm a follower. Interesting. Only if I like someone, obviously. I only follow people I like and respect. But yeah, I have no interest. Remember, whenever I have a friend who's also a follower, the two of us are like, where do we go? What do we do? Useless. We have no ideas. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want to do? I love it when I got a friend who say, Lisa, we're going here. We're doing that. Okay, I'm following along. I just find it. Passenger Princess. What's that? Do you have an Instagram? Yeah, my Instagram is Bratbusters Parenting. Do you offer one-on-one consultations? I don't do, you mean the free consultations to see if coaching is for you? No, I don't do that. I don't have time for that. This is my consultation. What you see is what you get. Coaching's more personal, obviously, but yeah, I don't do free consultations. I'll tell you what happened. I'm on TikTok right now, aren't I? Yeah, I went on TikTok 2 years ago, blew up overnight virtually, just 30,000 new followers a day. It was unbelievable. Anyway, and then it just slows down because you get the correct most people and then they kind of, whatever, it slows down. But anyway, I blew up overnight. And I always had free consultations, 30-minute consultations on my website for like 15 years. I have those. Worked beautifully. People just signed up automatically. I just had a few spots open a week, right? And they'd sign up. So I got booked up for 6 weeks in advance with all those consultations were taken up. They booked up so fast and furious, I added a few more. So anyway, you know what was funny? About 80%, because there is on TikTok and I don't know why, it was just a different audience. They didn't respect it. They didn't know who I was. They didn't respect me. And about 80% never turned up. So I was sitting there wasting hours and hours of my time with all these free consultations that people just no-shows. So I just canned it right away. I got rid of all those. But I had to go through those 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks of 80% wasting all that time. Because you don't really do anything when you're sitting waiting for people to turn up. Anyway, it was a total disaster. So I got rid of them. And now I'm on here every day. This is all free, all these lives. So this is my consultation. Yeah, I'd like to write a book, but I'm going to have to take a break from coaching to do so. There's no way I can do both. Coaching is very draining, because it's a huge responsibility. So there's no way I could do both. And a book is also very, very taxing. So yeah, I can't do both. Most of my days are spent coaching. Okay. My 17-year-old son lives with his dad because he gets his own way. Our relationship is hard to grow. Yeah, that's 50-50 whether or not I could help you with that. I could sort of help you to understand it and help you to maybe know where to go in the future and what not to say. There's a lot you shouldn't say that is normal to say to a 17-year-old boy, but that you shouldn't say, and how to try and bond with him. And yeah, it's tricky. If you want to work with me, you can send me an email and I'll see if I can fit you in. Just tell me why. If you're going to send me an email, you don't send me questions, parenting questions on email. I don't answer those because I don't have time. But if you're asking about coaching or something, then I'll look at that. But you have to tell me why you want to work with me. And because I like to mix up my clients, get different ages. And so if I've got a lot of teenagers, I might be more inclined to take, 7-year-olds or 2-year-olds. Oh, I don't teach babysitting. I don't tell people how to deal with other people's kids. Because if I did, I teach parenting only. Like I only teach the parenting role. So yeah, I don't. A lot of people ask me to go to their schools and that I don't teach teaching. They want me to do seminars for teachers. I wouldn't have a clue how to. I have so much respect for teachers, but I couldn't do that. They struggle with parenting. A lot of them do because they're my clients, but I couldn't possibly teach. Not my lane. Oh, don't ask me about ear infections and that. I'm not a doctor, so I can't possibly comment on that. Yeah, she isn't a doctor. God, no. You don't want my medical advice. You don't want my lack of medical advice. Some people think I'm a psychic. Yeah, people were coming on here saying, "Am I going to find Mr. Right a year from now?" And I just say, "I hope so," but I didn't know they thought I was a psychic. So I was sort of giving all this advice without realizing it. Oh, yes, I hope you'll meet him next year. Oh, goody. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Then people said, she thinks you're a psychic. Oh, it's so funny. Well, to me. Okay. Okay. How do you teach your kids to stand up for themselves, not scared of confrontations? Not be scared of confrontations? There's a difference between a confrontation and taking care of business, and I'll tell you how I do it. I don't like confrontations either. I've known some snarky people in my life, and I've learned over the years how to deal with them. One thing I say is if they keep coming at me and insulting me, and especially those passive aggressive types, they're very, very sly. I remember once my mom told me she was wearing a yellow dress, and some woman said to her, "Lillian, can you wear yellow?" Like, and my mom said, "You tell me, you're the one looking at me wearing it." So my mom used humor. What I do is if someone keeps coming at me and they're being really rude, your kid could say something like this, like if someone's being rude to them, this is what I say. If they're being rude, why do you do that? Why would I just say, "Crazy Lisa," shuts them right down. So yeah, he could just say maybe "Crazy Johnny" or whatever. Who knows why I do what I do. Don't get caught up in defending yourself. If someone's asking you to defend yourself, don't do it. It's a power trip for them. Why would you do that? Shouldn't you be doing that? "Crazy Lisa." Boy, that shuts them up. It's a good one. Because it's not rude, right? Someone said to me a couple of years ago, I'm vegan, right? But I'm not pro-vegan. Like if I ever start craving meat, I'll probably eat it. I've only been vegan for 9 years. And so this person said, how do you defend veganism? And I looked at them like they were weird. I said, I don't need to defend myself. Why would I care what you think? I thought that was a very passive aggressive, it's very passive aggressive. It's nasty, just nasty people in this world. How do you defend it? I don't. Why do I care what you think? They were just floored. No, I don't. No. So yeah, you just got to learn that. Don't get into defending yourself. You're never going to win. They're always going. Someone nasty coming at you. They're always going to win if you start defending yourself, in their mind anyway. Well, one thing that I want to point out is just a little tidbit information. Is apologizing. This is something that comes up a lot in coaching. And I teach parents how to apologize to their kids. And let's say you do something wrong and you got to teach your kids how to apologize by doing it yourself. So let's say you make a mistake. This is how you apologize. There's 4 steps to apologizing. You say to your kid, the first thing you say, or anybody, an adult, this is how you apologize. You say, "I'm sorry. I don't really care about empty words to me. Like I'm waiting for what's coming next, right? I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, keep going. I'm sorry. It was all my fault. I shouldn't have done it." Don't say, "It was all my fault. I shouldn't have done it. But if you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have done it." People tend to blame the other person when they mess up. It's just weird. The third one is make amends. Say, "What can I do to make it up to you?" And then offer something. "Hey, I'm sorry I was late. How about I buy the popcorn for the movie tonight?" And then don't keep doing it. That's the 4th step. Don't keep repeating the same mistake or else that apology meant nothing. So yeah, 4 steps to apologizing. A lot of adults don't know how to do that either. But yeah, 4 steps. Sorry, it was all my fault. What can I do to make it up to you? And then stop doing it. You got to learn to do that with your kids too. I am good at apologizing. And I remember my teenage son, he's the one who always came back with stuff. I said, "I'm really good at apologizing." And he said, "Well, that's because you've had so much practice." And then one night we were laughing. He was like, I don't know, 18 or something. We were up, just the 2 of us up late. We were just chatting. And so we were laughing at all the dumb things I've done as a mother and just stupid stuff I've done. And then I said to him, he's like 18, and we're just laughing away at all the dumb things I've done. A lot of cooking stuff because I've made some horrendous, I hate cooking, made some horrendous meals. Anyway, and then I said to him, "What about all the great stuff I've done?" And he went, "What?" They tend to remember all your mistakes, but they don't tend to remember all the good stuff you've done. Yeah, kids are adorable. Okay, I don't know the age, and I don't know what's going on here. My son hits himself in the face when mad or doesn't want to do something. How can I stop it? It's usually a manipulation tactic to get you to feel bad for him, or else it's just an aggressive. They just can't help it when they're little, usually. So yeah, just physically stop them from that. But I don't know the age, so I don't really know the situation there. But yeah, it's just something that it's just they can't control themselves. They got to hit something, so they hit themselves. Anyway, I got to get going. If you want to check out the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, and I've got that big group coaching thing starting on March 30th. So each week throughout the course, you can start the course anytime you want, but I will start these group coaching sessions on Zoom March 30th. I'll be going through the course with you. It's 5 weeks, and then I'll be doing a sixth one on Zoom, and that's the wrap up. I want to hear how you've done. How's it gone? How's your success rate, if at all? Sometimes people that maybe they just couldn't do it or whatever. So I want to hear how it's gone. So that's starting up. If you're already in the course, you can join in. If you're brand new, I'd suggest you don't start the course until the 30th if you're just signing up now. It's all included in the regular course. It will, all those Zooms, if you're turning up on there, you're going to be included in the course. Anyway, so because those Zooms will be included in the course in future, but it's only a one-off. I'll only be doing it this one time. Anyway, okay, I got to get going. Thanks so much for joining me. And oh yeah, with coaching, if you want to look into coaching, I can't take everyone on because my schedule is pretty packed these days, but you can apply for coaching via email. And it's all listed above. But I am taking new clients on right now, but I don't want to say what age because I've got different ages. That I like to sort of balance it out for myself. I don't want to work with parents of teenagers all day or parents of toddlers all day. I like to mix it up just for my own sake. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll be back again sometime tomorrow. It's not scheduled, so happy parenting.